our Converse logo. It's a little bent there, so we want to pay attention to that because since the shoe's bending in, the logo's bending in a little bit. So we don't want to assume it's just round and just draw it in as a round thing. So we get that placed. Come back up in here and find out where this is coming around with this padding of the shoe that then comes back here. So it's slowly starting to take shape. This is probably a little large. I can come back and modify that later. But an important point I want to make now is the eyelets. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eyelets coming down here. And so the placement of them is way more important than starting to draw the eyelets from scratch. I should probably clean this up a little, but I don't have an eraser. That's okay. So I want to start kind of ghosting in where the eyelets go. Here we go. Let's go. I'm going to clean this up a little bit, then I'll go back to the eyelets. Here. Bring this down here more. Okay. So here's an eyelet. Remember, there's 6 of them, and the 6th one has to end up down here someplace. So, you know, it's not a bad idea to do the 1st and 6th one first. And don't commit to them, just kind of place them in there. And you know, somewhere in the middle, you're going to get your 3rd and 4th in here. So you're going to get one here, somewhere here, 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 and then this last one should actually be a little more here. You can clean it up a little bit. And you've got your inside part of the shoe that's coming up to where your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eyelets are. Out of the 2nd eyelet, you're going to get where a lace is going to come across, and then it looks like it's got some funny little knot in there, and comes down like so, and then places down here someplace. So at this stage, you might feel like going and starting to do detail, but don't do that yet. Come through and start checking things out more and more. Make sure you're happy with the placement of everything, because if you go to the detail too soon, and then you find out that your proportion is way off, you're not happy with the drawing at all. So let's see, I mentioned this should be a little smaller, so we can take care of that now. When you erase, get all the eraser dirt gone. And only erase when you have to. You know, the more we pay attention, the less we have to erase. So it's coming across more like this. I think that's a little more accurate. Okay. I could recheck the eyelets. 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure this threading that's following them is making sense. There's some stitching coming across here, coming down into here. Let's do a lace. So since my shoe down by the toe, I can see a lace here. Let's get this eyelet in a little bit more now. This would be detail later on, folks, okay? So I'm starting to get this eyelet in, and it's a ring coming across. And this laces will drive you crazy until you realize you just got to follow the shapes that you're seeing that they're creating. And this comes across like so. And then up here, where this other lace is coming in, we can start figuring where this overlaps up into here, comes down into here, and you start building the laces from there slowly. But this is after you're satisfied where everything is. I was just showing you how, when you got to that point, how you would start slowly adding detail in. And then you'd clean it up more and more. But this would all be done once it's placed, so you could do it with continuous contour lines. Let me see what else I want to look at here. back inside of the shoe because, you know, the shoe's below our eye level, so we're seeing inside of it, and there's a little padding in there, and there's little nuances to what's going on with that padding. I see an eyelet back here for the other side of the shoe. And you would progress from here. Let's get these placed, excuse me. You got these little air holes here so your feet can breathe. You get those placed loosely. And then, once again, once you're satisfied with where everything is, then let's go back here and start this modified contour thing again. Start coming in and slowly adding your detail. And use thick and thin lines. Thick and thin lines will add more of a sense of volume than having all of the lines the same thickness. You can just let your lines kind of skate across the drawing sometimes, and other times you can put a little more weight on them. Notice I'm not lifting my pencil here. I'm just sort of moving around, trying to find where the next line's gonna go. And that's how you'd start your modified contour line drawing of a shoe. If you want to put the shadow underneath, once again, that's fine, as we did with the fruit drawing. But once again, we haven't studied lighting yet, so that's something that you don't necessarily have to do. And then I'm going to come, let's see, come in here. So I could go on and on and on with this and keep drawing the shoe, but the bottom line is the shoe should probably take you hour and a half, 2 hours to complete the entire thing, okay? Well, once again, when you start it, start loose, make sure it's nice and big on your page. If it's little bitty drawing in the middle of the page, we don't appreciate it nearly as much. Thank you for your time.